Hello everyone. Welcome to Mindful Wanderer Journeys Within and Happy New Year 2025. Oh my God, I can't believe we're actually in this new year already. And I'm praying that each of you had a wonderful, blessed holiday season. I admit I've been dealing with what they call the post-holiday winter blues, and because everything is just so magical and busy and fun and festive, and after it's all over it's like, oh my God, what happened? So I'm really missing it. In fact, I'm one of those that, yes, I keep my tree up for a while, I keep my decorations up for a while, because it makes me feel good, and it helps me bring in the new year on a positive note. And I encourage anybody who is wondering whether they should do the same, like, why not? If it makes you feel good, do it. So that's plain and simple as that. But anyway, so we're into this new year, 2025. Now, some of you may hear about whether you have a word for the new year. And since it is 2025, my word is thrive. And I combined it with a mantra of thrive in 2025. And that is what I am looking to do. And certainly this podcast is definitely one of the ways that I have been thriving. I just love doing this. I love coming here every couple Mondays a month and just being with all of you. And it has been such a blessed experience. I can't believe I started this in October and it's going to be February in half a month, and it's like, wow. So, but yes, that is my word, and I encourage all of you to think about a word for your new year. And it can be anything. And one thing that often is always talked about with New Year's is resolutions. And of course, not that there's anything wrong with resolutions, but a lot of them, you hear the same things about losing weight, about finding a new goal, doing all the things that people typically talk about with New Year's resolutions. But one thing that I want to address here is about, when we think about resolutions, well, you also think about being intentional, living intentionally each day. Because our minds, like, I know, like, my mind right now, it gets so future oriented, like, oh my God, I got to do this, I got to do that. And some things have changed in my life where, yes, I'm constantly thinking about the next thing and what to do. I'm in a very big caregiving role right now for my mom, and it's a lot of preparation, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of having to schedule things ahead of time. And yes, it gets my brain into that constant thinking about the next day, which is why it's so important to live each day intentionally, because we can really lose that feeling of being present. And being present is so important, because in reality, we only have the present day that we're dealing with. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So the present is all that we have to live with and to enjoy. So, like today, I got up, I knew that there were things that I needed to do. And one of them was going to the local grocery store, getting groceries. I knew that I was going to be making a pot of chili and noodles for me and my mom for dinner. But I also knew that I needed something else for myself to do, because when you're caregiving, especially, it's so important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and living intentionally. So I did a fun thing. I went to a cafe, one of my favorite cafes, for breakfast, and had a delicious breakfast before I went into the crazy carnage of our grocery store. And we have a promotion going on right now at the store. It's called the can sale. So some of you may be familiar with that. And And then Sundays are always the first day of the sales for the week. So it was pretty insane when I went. So so that's why I thought I will just go and have a nice breakfast and just enjoy and everything. So that's what I did. So when we're thinking about the new year and resolutions, when we think about holistically, we think about our minds, we think about our hearts, we think about our entire bodies. And it's so important to, when we're living in the present moment, again, to really make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And you don't have to be a caregiver, so to say, to be taking care of yourself. We should be taking care of ourselves because at the end of the day, we're the only ones that we have. And if we're not taking care of ourselves first, then we can't be there for other people. So I would strongly encourage you to have that as one of your New Year's intentions or New Year's resolutions, whatever you want to call it, to really carve out time for yourselves. And whether that be taking a nap, whether it be going for a walk, whether it be reading a book, or taking a drive somewhere, or doing something like I did, like going to a breakfast cafe, just doing something that is out of the ordinary pace and routine of what you do. And it really becomes a positive habit. And you hear about, something that you do for 21 days becomes a habit. So it's so important to do these positive things for ourselves and just thinking about like how it's nourishing us. When you think about flowers, when you plant a garden, constantly watering that garden for those flowers to thrive and grow. Well, that's what we're doing. We're watering ourselves, taking care of ourselves and making sure, because we can't make somebody else or other people our main purpose in life, because it just leads to a total unbalance. And it really does. I mean, that is okay to be a part of our lives. But again, at the end of the day, we have to think about how are we nourishing ourselves? Because we have to be there in so many different ways and different roles. And it is just so important to realize that. So, another thing that helps, and I usually do it at night before I go to sleep or when I wake up in the morning, is meditation. And on YouTube, there are tons and tons of meditations. And it really, really helps. Now, for me, the 5-minute ones were really good to start out with, because the idea of people that do this for hours, I'm like, wow, because my mind is always racing and again, always just thinking about the next thing. But it really, really helps. It really does. And as I said, YouTube, you can find meditations on any kind of topic. And you can find it on growth. You can find one on how to relax, healing, anything really you can find a meditation on. But for me, it helps at night. It helps to calm down, especially if you've had a really busy day, or in the morning if you know that you have a lot coming up to deal with, or if you're just having some rough emotions going on. Meditation just has a way of just bringing in that inner calm and making you feel like, wow, I can really focus on myself in this moment. And that's another thing too, being present in the moment. Even not even just thinking about the day before, the day tomorrow, but even like when you get up in the morning, people already like thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? I mean, just stay present in that moment. What is it you're doing there? Like I think about, okay, like I'm filming this podcast right now, and that's all I'm focusing on. I'm not thinking about what am I going to do afterwards. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do the next morning. I'm not thinking about anything other than filming this podcast. And when you're present and you're focusing on one thing at a time, you can give your best in that one thing at a time. Because I mean, you've seen it where if you're talking to someone and let's say that they're on their phone, or they're looking all over the place at everything. They're looking everywhere except from you. I mean, can you imagine if I was filming this podcast, but yet I was like, let's say I was looking, if I was wearing a watch, if I was looking at that, or if I was like looking, here and just, I mean, you would obviously not feel like I was really in the moment and in this process of doing this. So when you're in conversation with someone or you're in an activity, I mean, really, really embrace it. Be present with it because, people want to feel like they matter. And when you're in a conversation with someone or in an activity with someone, when you're focused on other things, I mean, it comes across. I mean, body language really comes across. And there's nothing that, that it's really a crazy feeling when you know that you're with someone who really isn't into the conversation or being in that activity with you. So, with this new year, think about your relationships. Think about ways that you can be more present with them and how you can be healthier with yourself too. So, I've gone over about meditation, talking about word for the year, about being intentional. But one other point I want to touch on about a new year. Every day, it doesn't even have to be a new year. Every day is a new day to begin something new. It can be anything. We have, each day is a gift to us. Each day that we wake up is a gift. Every day we are given an opportunity to be something that we weren't yesterday. I don't want to say necessarily be a better person, but be maybe a more enriched person. Be, again, more intentional because, we don't know. We never know what's going to happen from day to day. So that's why it's so important to keep those 24 hours going in front of us and everything. But if we look at that, every day that we're given is an opportunity to be a new way, or learn something new, or try something new, or read about something new, or watch something new on TV, like a new documentary or something that you could find out about. So, I mean, there's plenty. People, this is something like people mock about watching TV, but let me tell you something. My mom and I have learned a lot of different factoids on the TV because we don't just watch it for mindless entertainment. We watch game shows, we watch documentaries, we watch different shows to learn about things. So, I mean, there are ways, everything has a positive aspect to it if you look at it in that way because you are learning something new. So, but there's different ways of learning out there. So I would just strongly encourage that as you think about the new year coming up, think about a new day. Yes, New Year's are exciting. It's exciting when that ball drops and we have that new year. But I mean, every day, every new day is a gift and it should be lived according so. So I just want to encourage all of you. Definitely take time out for yourselves. Find things that bring you the most joy. Just think about how each day is a gift. How can you enrich your life? How can you enrich the relationships that you're in? And the most important relationship that you're in is with yourself. And also, for me, my relationship with God is the focal point of my life. So I take time out each day to do devotional time, prayer time. Again, finding time for meditation. It's just so amazing. So I just want to encourage all of you. Take each day as a gift. Yes, we're in this new year. Find a word that will match with you, but look at every day as that beautiful new gift that you were given every single time. All right, my friends, I will see you again in a couple of weeks. And I'm just so happy to be back here with you. And here's to thriving in 2025.